Disappointed in the game, disappointed in the result. We knew that we weren't going to be able to find the success we wanted turning the ball over. Obviously, that became an issue. Defensively, too many explosive plays. I think the game for us comes down to turnovers and tackling. And I respected the way we stayed in the fight. I respected the way we competed. I thought in the first half we showed a lack of discipline after the snap, and that's disappointing because that's not to our identity. I thought in the second half we cleaned that up. We were able to capitalize on some of their penalties. There's a higher performance for this team out there, and we got to go and search for it, and we will. This is a resilient bunch of guys that care about each other. It's been a tough stretch here, but they're going to stay at it, and we'll keep in search of that Vanderbilt football performance for 4 quarters. I want to give a shout out to Brad Ashmore, who competed in that game. As of right now, Brad's scheduled for surgery on Monday, that's always pending further evaluation, but knowing that coming into the game, that guy played the entire game, and I think a reflection of the spirit of our program, and I'm proud of him, and I want to acknowledge him as a bright spot on a disappointing day. So with that, I'm happy to open up for questions.
It didn't seem, watching the game, like there was a huge talent differential between the two teams on the field. Like what, we've asked you like what needs to improve or change, like what options are there left, for you to go to?
I think when you look at a talent differential, South Carolina made more plays than we made, and whether that's again plays on the perimeter where they're breaking tackles. I mean that's an example of them winning a one-on-one where we come up short, and certainly there are design things. I thought offensively we came out of the Missouri game and created some design elements that helped us and got the run game going, and I was proud of that. But look, we have to keep improving, keep making progress. Obviously, when it comes to tackling, that's a fundamental technique, but it's also about leverage, getting the ball level, getting the ball turned back on the perimeter. There's elements of eye discipline and getting your technique fast in the opponent, and we just weren't good enough today when we weren't closing spaces and we weren't playing with that fundamental technical discipline. There's a short yardage snap there on third down where we lose the edge, it breaks out on a long run. I mean, those are things we control, Robbie, and we're not going to throw our hands up, and we're going to keep at it, and we'll find a better performance. It wasn't tonight, it wasn't good enough tonight. We're not that far off, like you mentioned. It's not, there's not a huge talent discrepancy there, but they made more plays than we made, and we're going to have to find ways to be better.
Yesterday it was reported that Dan Jackson backed Kanye West's recent comments. Today he was on the sidelines. Can you talk about that decision?
Well, first of all, I don't want to answer that question as for Dan Jackson in terms of backing Kanye West's comments. What I will say is that Dan Jackson, made a mistake, and I'm deeply disappointed by this situation. We want to create an environment here where we have conversations around this, and we want to have an environment where we learn in these situations too. I sat down with Dan as soon as I caught wind of this, and as he expressed in his statement, he was embarrassed and apologetic in that meeting. Feels awful about it. Obviously, as a program, we value diversity in all forms, and that's evidence in our staff and the makeup of our team. And certainly we reject anti-Semitism. We reject hate speech of any kind. I would never want for anything coming out of this program to be viewed as in support of anything that puts people at at risk, and I'm disappointed about this. So we reject the discriminatory language. We reject the hate speech. We reject anti-Semitism, and at this point, there's no further comment on the situation. That's not to leave a door open for further discourse later, but at this point, I'd like to make the press conference about the game.
It was pretty chippy out there, a lot of penalties, a lot of stuff after plays. What was going on that made this game particularly that way?
Well, I think we're carrying the emotions of frustration. I think that's part of it, and I think we have to be above those emotions, in the competitive moment, and that's not playing to our identity. There's nothing good that happens towards the outcome of a game after the whistle, and so we have to be more disciplined than that. I thought in the second half we settled in, and I thought we played a style and a demeanor that's representative of our program. And like I said, I felt like we were able to capitalize on some situations where maybe they lost their discipline. But that's something that we'll coach, that we coached in the moment, that we'll come back to in film on Monday, and we're going to fight for the result we want, but that fight needs to happen between the whistles.
Respectfully, I think a lot of stakeholders, within the university or alumni, probably people in your program are pissed off about the Dan Jackson situation. Why don't they deserve to know the full story?
Well, Robbie, I obviously understand. I understand the emotion behind it, and it's not a matter of not knowing the full story, because there's a door open here to have a continued dialogue. But at this moment right now, I don't have any further comment on the situation.
Why isn't he going to talk tonight then?
Right now, tonight's about the game. I'm not shutting the door to Dan Jackson talking and being out there and having a situation where we have a conversation. I think conversations are critical. And again, this is an environment where we want to promote that level of discourse. But right now, this is going to be about the game, and we'll leave time for that another time.
But speaking of the game, why was Dan still allowed to coach in the game tonight?
That's not speaking about the game. That's commenting on the situation, and I'm not going to do that right now, Aria. And again, it's not to say that we won't have time for that, but right now we're not going to talk about it.
From a football perspective, why do you feel confident that he can coach guys and help you win games when he believes all this crazy stuff that Kanye West says that doesn't make any sense?
I understand, Robbie, the emotion. I understand the question. And again, we don't discuss personnel matters, and we don't discuss the evaluation of personnel matters publicly. That's not what we do as a university. And so, again, I'm not going to answer that question right now. So no further comment on that.
Anything else about the game tonight?
Yeah, is AJ okay, or what?
He wasn't able to return. Right now I don't have an update on his status, but obviously he's missed time here recently, and we got to get him evaluated and hope for his health and hope he can be back. But if not, Mike Wright needs to be ready to go. So we'll address that again on Tuesday. But right now I don't have an update on his status.
Nick Rinaldi played tonight. I'm not sure if that's his first. Was somebody hurt? I think that's unusual. He's a walk-on who just started playing football last year. What contributed to that situation?
Nick has been a guy that has continued to improve through the season. He started playing for us on special teams, and has been a guy that in preparation has shown flashes. And certainly as you move through the season and you're dealing with injury and you're banged up, you're going to need to have guys step up. We believe in Nick. We don't want to go beyond 4 games for him this season, because we think a redshirt year is important for someone who hasn't played so much football. But we're going to use him up until that point to help us win.
Was there an injury or anybody in front of him? Or was he just
BJ
playing because
wasn't available tonight, and
I'm
so
sorry. Oh,
BJ, yeah.
Okay. Run game. You seem like you found something on the edges, but that's something you saw on film. And what did you just think about how that progressed tonight?
Yeah, well, we like our running backs, and felt like against Missouri we weren't able to create the space for them structurally, and I thought the offense staff did a good job with design, and I thought our front did a good job creating some space, and then obviously our backs are good enough to create explosive plays, and they did that. There was also patience involved there where, we were committed to the run game even when it was 1st and 10, 2nd and 8. And over time, Ray and Cheeks both were able to do some good things for us. So that's got to be a feature of our offense, if we're to be successful in offense. And I was glad to see them get that going tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Very good.
Most. Thank you.
All right, Mike Wright, everybody.
Mike, what was the last 24 hours like for you guys? Considering the social media comment that Coach Jackson made. Kanye said that he thinks George Floyd died from a fentanyl overdose, and Coach Jackson said that he's 2 steps ahead of everyone.
Yeah, I'll leave the specifics to Coach Lee. As far as the distraction, we're here to play football. We don't even look at the media on game day. In 24-hour rules, we're not even looking at our phone or anything like that. We're trying to just worry about the game plan and figure out, what our week's preparation is and just get ready to play. So,
What did you think worked for the offense when you obviously came into the game, maybe not expecting AJ to get hurt, obviously, but you guys moved the ball and all that?
yeah, I think hats off to the guys up front. They were a little just short today in numbers, so I'm proud of that group up front. We had success in the run game today, and a lot of that is dependent on them. So proud of that group, and we'll figure out where we had success and where we lacked, and we'll get better and we'll prepare for the next game for it. So.
What was it like on the field? A lot of penalties, a lot of after the play stuff. What made this game different than some of the other ones you played in?
Yeah, I think it got a little chippy here and there, and some of that is on them and some of that's on us. I think that's just football. We'll be better. We know we got to keep it in between the lines, so I'm not really worried in that sense because we know where we were wrong. We know where it was caused by them, so we'll be better moving forward on that, and it won't be a problem from this point on.
Anything else for Mike? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Ethan Barr, everyone.
And they had a lot of success on the gadget plays. Were they showing you new looks, new things that you guys hadn't seen?
Yeah, they definitely did come out and show some new things that we hadn't seen, and that did give them some success. And I think we were able to adjust to that towards later in the game after we had seen it, and stopped it. And they kind of got back into the things that they that gives them their true identity and what they stick to, the counter and things like that. So they did get away from the gadgets a little bit, but yeah. The gadgets did affect us a little bit, and that's something that we just gotta, make a play on and figure out in the moment a way to stop it.
Anything else for Ethan Barr?
How frustrating was it to not be able to get stops when you needed them at times?
Yeah, the first half we struggled in tackling and containing the ball and getting it down when we needed to get down. So obviously that's a little frustrating. Something that we can improve on, going forward. It's something that we will improve on. So there's nothing that you can do about it once it happens. All you can do is learn from it and realize what you're doing wrong and grow from it. So I think that's what we did going into the second half, and then we just need to get off the field throughout the whole game. It's something that we kind of struggle with at times, and sometimes we did well at it. So we're gonna have to look at the film and figure out ways that we can improve to stay more consistent with that.
Anything else? Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
Thanks.